Always looked like someone had splashed black paint across his hollow cheeks, appeared beside Houston. They'd joined together last year, and in my time here, had yet to see one without the other. The chatter faded as Wallace came around the corner. He needed a shower. His shoulder-length peppered hair was greasy in clumps, and the skin of his face was tight with fatigue. But even in the muted yellow glow of the flashlights, it was obvious his ears had gone pink. One pointed glare, and Houston melted back toward Lincoln. My brows rose. Wallace seemed too old for Kara. She was 22, while he might have been twice that age. Besides, he was married to the cause. Everything else, everyone else, would always come second. Not my business, I reminded myself. The narrow corridor had crowded with 11 guys awaiting instruction. Not all of them had served. Some were just non-compliant with the statutes, like me. We all had our reasons for being here. My heart tripped in my chest when Houston moved aside to reveal Chase Jennings, leaning against the opposite wall 10 feet down. His hands were wrist-deep in the pockets of his jeans, and a white undershirt peeked through the holes of a gray, threadbare sweater. Only remnants of his incarceration in the base remained, a dark half-moon painted beneath one eye and a thin band of scar tissue across the bridge of his nose. He'd just gotten off the night shift securing the building's perimeter. I hadn't seen him come in. As he watched me, the corner of his mouth lifted ever so slightly. I looked down when I realized my lips had done the same. "All right, quiet down," began Wallace, voice gruff once again. He hesitated, tapping the handheld radio, now silent, against his leg. I caught a glimpse of the black tattoo on his forearm that twisted beneath his frayed sleeve. "What happened?" said Riggins, suspicious only when not outright paranoid. His fingers wove over the top of his buzzed, can-shaped head as though he expected the ceiling might suddenly cave in on us. "Last night, half the square went without rations." Wallace's frown deepened. "Seems our blue friends are withholding." Pity was a hard sell. Most of us went straight to anger. We all knew the had the food. Our scouts had counted 2 Extra Horizons trucks, the only government-sanctioned food distributors, entering the base just yesterday. Houston balked. "If they're hoping to clear town, they're out of luck. Tent City'll starve to death first. People got nowhere else to go." He was right. When the major cities had been destroyed or evacuated in the war, people had migrated inland to places like Knoxville or my home, Louisville, in search of food and shelter. They'd found only the bare minimum: soup kitchens and communities of vagrants, like the city of tents that had taken over the lot on the northern side of the city square. "Thank you, Houston," said Wallace. "I think that's the point." I shivered. Chase and I hadn't left the Wayland Inn since we'd pledged to the resistance almost a month ago. If possible, the city seemed even bleaker than when we had last seen it. "Now," continued Wallace, "Billy caught a radio thread yesterday on an upcoming draft in the square. We don't know when, but my guess is it'll be soon, and they'll be offering signing bonuses." "I didn't get a bonus," someone whispered. "Rations, jackass," muttered Sean. A collective groan filled the hallway. Soldiers using the promise of food to recruit more soldiers. They'd have a whole new army in a week. "And forgiveness of statute violations, of course." Wallace smiled cynically. More groans followed. Work was slim these days. The only businesses still running required background checks, which meant applicants had better be compliant with the moral statutes, a list of regulations that took away women's rights, mandated a whole family, and prohibited things like divorce, speaking out against the government.